For the 20th anniversary of The Simpsons, which happened way back in 2009, Playboy magazine decided to celebrate the animated series in a way that had only been done once before by the magazine Maxim. And what better way could Playboy do that than to put up a thirst trap of Marge Simpson on their cover page? Not only did Playboy do this to commemorate the 20th anniversary of The Simpsons, but also as part of a plan to appeal to younger readers in order to counter the dwindling the iconic magazine was facing at the time. This scheme kinda worked, because in the early 2000s, people started losing interest in seeing real ladies, which caused a drastic turn to the cartoon ladies. But this ain't about no damn magazine, this is about the sexualization of TV's greatest mommy, Marge Simpson, the allure and everything in between. Marge's nude debut at Maxim. Yup, appearing nude on Playboy wasn't Marge's first time. In April 2004, Maxim took what I'd like to call a very bold step by showcasing a thin-clothed, dripping Marge on its cover alongside a naked interview. In this special issue, Marge ditched her traditional image for a more provocative style, wearing a figure-hugging, low-cut dress while scrubbing the floor. The intent was clear: to captivate, entertain, and constantly astonish readers. The magazine really played with the fantasy of fans and presented Marge on the kitchen floor, soaked and dripping in soap suds while maintaining a lustful glare. And to top it all, within the pages, Marge's iconic tall blue hair was seductively let down to cascade over her shoulders as she reclined on her bed, awaiting her dear Homer, who was taking a shower. At first look, her motherly figure was instantly transformed into a sexier one. The image on the cover and on the inside of the magazine revealed the part of Homer and Marge in the bedroom that fans almost never got to witness on the show. Created with the help of the Simpsons team, these images depicted Marge in a glamorous light, showcasing her transformation into a sexy cover girl. Maxim's editor-in-chief, Keith Blanchard, praised Marge's allure, emphasizing her status as the sexiest character in the cartoon world. Due to the success that Marge brought Maxim, a significant portion of Maxim's upcoming editions then featured Marge on the cover alongside occasional appearances by Paris Hilton. I hope Bart doesn't see what his mom is up to. Marge's first Maxim interview was not too explicit compared to the visuals, and the interview confirmed Marge to the stereotypical role of a domestic housewife rather than embracing her as a fully developed, multi-dimensional matriarch we know her to be. What kind of question is, if you could clean any house in the world, whose would it be? And Marge replied that it would be Ned Flanders' house. Marge is far more than just a homemaker. She's not confined to the kitchen sink. She has ventured far from traditional gender roles, displaying her assertive side and playing a pivotal role as the moral compass of the town. Maxim also asked, was it tough growing up as the younger sister with all the looks? And Marge replied, since when does Maxim care about looks? Nice one, Maxim. I see how you made it about you. Alright, while some questions were kinda stereotypical and so unlike what Marge would entertain, some were incredibly funny. I mean, they asked Marge what's more exhilarating, good sex or gambling, and she said, we do both by not using protection. The decision to feature Marge and Maxim is just proof of The Simpsons' influence on American culture. In the entertainment industry, it's common for Hollywood actresses to participate in photo shoots for magazines like Maxim. While Marge being a cartoon character adds a unique twist, it's unlikely to negatively impact The Simpsons' overall popularity. Instead, it reflects the show's ability to adapt and remain relevant over the years. Maxim also featured Marge as an incentive to boost magazine sales and create more buzz around The Simpsons. Even though they are regarded as the first magazine to do so, it's worth noting that back in 1990, Rolling Stone even conducted an interview with the characters themselves. Not the voice actors, Dan Castellaneta or Julie Kavner, but Homer, Marge, and Bart. The writers of Marge's Maxim interview could have had tremendous fun exploring Marge's character beyond the superficial, risque images, but they didn't. Playboy did, 5 years later. Marge on Playboy. Unlike Maxim, Playboy took a different approach as Marge was no longer portrayed as a housewife, but a wife on a vacation to a log cabin similar to the one depicted in the 2007 Simpsons movie. It was the same cabin that contained a wonderful act of love and also served as the ground for the most emotional breakup in movie history. Inside the Playboy magazine, there's also an article titled "The Devil in Marge Simpson, Springfield's Sexiest Reveals All." This article contained an interview which surpassed the previous interview in Maxim. Marge merged with the jokes while explaining to her interviewers that she only did the photo shoot for charity. When asked how she ended up on Playboy, she said, "I'm donating my hefty fee from this tasteful pictorial to SPGH, saving and preserving historical gazebos." She was further asked how her family felt about her being in the magazine, and she ridiculed the fact that Homer had no idea that Playboy even existed. She said Lisa lied, and she said that Bart could never know about it. In the interview, Marge even formulated her own acronym, MILK, which is short for Mom, I'd Like to Know. Mom, I'd like to know. That is such a cute and perfect catchphrase for a character like Marge. She is definitely a mom I'd like to know. Wink wink. Marge is not the quirkiest of characters in the show when it comes down to it, but her dorky and understandable humor puts her above other characters and makes her a unique mom. The photos in the magazine were classically of Marge, but each photo paid homage to famous poses from iconic women across history. Just like this, Doreen Stern's picture on the October 1971 cover served as the inspiration for Marge's 2009 cover. The Simpsons is well known for deriding real-world events and parodies of movies, so these images kinda make sense. They include parodies of well-known 1940s pinup illustrations and direct reproductions of past Playboy cover models. The depictions are done perfectly, all the while maintaining a comic Simpsons touch. Despite the saucy elements, they avoid being overtly explicit like those found in Maxim magazine. Both illustrations and the ones in Maxim were created by Julius Peretti, the skilled vice president of animation at Fox. While discussing his illustration process and experience drawing for Hugh Hefner on Twitter, he recalled receiving an email from Hefner during Playboy's March issue, urging him to make the images more explicit, which made him feel like he was drawing his own mother. Apart from the images, one aspect that stood out was the model data sheet. Here, Playboy usually inquires about the model's favorite books, movies, musicians, as well as their aspirations, likes, and dislikes. While typical models usually mentioned that their turnoffs were men who ignored their body shape, Marge had a different perspective as it turned her on. Marge's centerfold became iconic due to its humorous mockery of Playboy's conventions, breaking free from the rigid norms of the time. When questioned about her weight, she brushed it off as nosy, and her response to inquiries about her birth date were a simple, "very nosy." These epigrams contributed to the magazine's charm, portraying it as clever and witty. Instead of sticking to the traditional Rule 34 version of Marge, the centerfold showcased a different aspect of her personality without demolishing her image. It didn't reject her, but rather it highlighted her diversified character. Executive producer Al Jean also jumped into the media and playfully suggested that Marge herself felt a bit embarrassed and wanted people to know the picture wasn't real. He even threw in a bit of humor and said that it was Wilma Flintstone's body. Sexualized Marge. The effrontery of Playboy and Maxim to put Marge on their cover and paint her in such a light just makes one wonder, was Marge always depicted as a sexualized character in the show? Well, yes and no, but mostly yes. Although Marge's status as a sex symbol had never been aggravated to this level before, her appeal emanated from her identity as the unique mother with noticeable physical attributes. Marge was never excessively saucy, but her attractiveness came from being a devoted and doting wife, a best friend, and a character that knew the value of intimacy. The innocence of her character intrigued fans, making them curious about what she might look like without her iconic green dress. This curiosity was evident in online searches, with fans speculating through various artworks. The show itself played into this curiosity during the episode The Devil Wears Nada, where Marge posed nude for a charity calendar. This episode, along with others like Natural-Born Kissers, hinted at Marge's potential as a cartoon sex symbol. Unlike newer shows like Family Guy, Big Mouth, Rick and Morty, and American Dad, which overtly sexualized their characters, The Simpsons maintained a more PG tone. But because of the growing competition, the show creators just had to exploit this aspect of Marge's character, creating episodes like Large Marge and Natural-Born Kisser. These episodes were a conscious choice to speak to a wider audience and withhold withdrawing viewers, especially young men and boys who might have otherwise shifted their attention to other explicit content. What made this transformation unique was the audience's familiarity with Marge. Having grown up with her as the sweet mom of Bart and Lisa, the prospect of seeing her sexualized felt intriguing and almost taboo. Her sexual part was not always showcased, which made exploring this side of her character fun. Playboy discovered this intrigue and thought to themselves, hey, why don't we utilize this to boost our magazine sales? Man, Marge could be so pretty when she wants to be. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more of Marge. Stay tuned for more fire content like this.